Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Azure Seas of Nita. I am der Heizmeister, and this, well, is finally a construction episode in From the Depths. As I promised, and due to the results of the poll, we will be constructing an adaptive drone carrier. But first, let's get a few things out of the way before we begin. You might be wondering, where have I been this last time? There haven't been any uploads so far since the end of the Adventure Mode series. Well, quite frankly speaking, I had a sore throat and my voice has been gone had been gone for about a week, and I did not want to do any recordings before my voice has fully recovered. So here we are, back again in the designer, ready to construct an adaptive drone cruiser. Now then, I will explain the various systems that will be put on this adaptive drone cruiser as we go along, and yeah, I also might have something to say about the purpose of this construct and its intended use in combat. Alright then, my starting fort has been placed. I am ready to construct the hull, but before we do that, let's get some things out of the way first. I will say this much: this adaptive drone cruiser is not going to be a unit that is a powerhouse which rivals the strength of, let's say, the Megalodon or anything else in that same price range. No, absolutely not. The adaptive drone cruiser is going to be a support unit, and it will only be a support unit, providing drone support for a fleet or other forces from afar. And it will not actively engage in combat, and therefore it will not have any weapon systems or any offensive systems itself, save for a few defenses like Seavis or the likes. Okay, maybe a few torpedoes and close range anti-air missiles. Something like this. It should be completely defenseless. Anyway, let's start by constructing the hull. Probably 2 to 3 hours later, I have lost track of time, and we have a hull. Hang on a second, you might be wondering, this one is round. Yes indeed it is. It is quite a break from my usual building convention, and this drone carrier will be highly unusual in shape and in its systems. So yeah, I have built a round hull. This will be a very very unique design, so to speak, and I have also installed the main propulsion system already, or at least a part of it, and laid out the rough shape of the superstructure, which will be placed here. Now, these platforms here represent the spawning areas for the different drones. For example, there will be 4 platforms on the broadsides, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. These platforms will be spawning small fighter drones. These really tiny drones I used at the beginning of the adventure mode. Then we have a platform here at the front. This one will be spawning a bomber drone if needed. And there will be a platform here at the back. And this one will be spawning a... oh no, wait, there will be 2 platforms here at the back. And these will be spawning the sniper drones. You know, the ones with the laser-guided thumper missiles. Yeah, those are the ones. Here on the superstructure, I plan to also construct a little spawning and construction area for my what's it called? The aerospace fighter drone. Yeah, quite a long name for this one, and this one is quite interesting. It is, as you may recall, when I've explained this a while back. It's something that is able to fly within the atmosphere and is able to seamlessly transition between atmosphere and spaceflight. And I've already made a prototype for this and also a drone prototype, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I guess now's the time to build up the superstructure of this drone carrier and place the turret wells so that I get a rough idea of where are all of our components are supposed to be. And I need to get building on those large well, anti-aircraft cannons. The problem with those is that I'm not certain if I should use railgun components or not, because railgun components are quite expensive. And I do wish to keep the price of this carrier within reasonable limits, because, you know, I've already gone over a 100,000 material mark just for the armor alone, which is... let me just... come on. Don't do this to me now. This is just a layer of metal, the slopes here don't count, a layer of alloy, a kinetic and a heat protection here with these wedges, and then another layer of alloy. I admit it is quite a lot of armor for something that is just supposed to be a support unit. And I have not even begun doubling up the whole bottom just yet, because I do need to place a double bottom on this hull. Since, you know, with a ship of this size, there is a threat that heat torpedoes or any kind of torpedoes will target it immediately. Anyway, let's continue building. Alright then, as you can see, this drone carrier now looks a whole lot more finished. I have completed the superstructure with all turret wells now in place and fleshed out so far. This is the space I have designated for the Seabus guns, for example. Now there's a lot of empty space in here, I know, and we will fill it with useful components in due time. As you can see here, I have already expended more than 150,000 materials on this drone carrier, and this is indeed a hefty price, even without the necessary components in place, you know, the guns and engine components and the likes. However, cost was never an issue when I began building this one. Also, I have noticed that I could basically repurpose this hull to be, I don't know, for example, some kind of floating fortress. You know, I basically remove those spawning on construction areas here and replace them with guns. That would certainly be an option, and something I would like to pursue maybe in the future. However, for now, we need to do something else. Considering that this unit is going to cost a bit of resources, I will now proceed to install components like engines and any other components that will put a focus on resource effectiveness. This basically means that I will install material efficient or fuel efficient engines and other very material efficient components. Since volume is the one thing I do have plenty of in this unit. Yeah. Now then, I could probably save some materials by using a lot more wood to construct this one. I have been very generous with the metal and alloy so far, so I guess I should use a little bit more wood from now on. Anyway, it is time to probably place some engines in here. This drone carrier is going to have a medium-sized LAMS as well as a point defense laser that is directly linked to the LAMS. So I do need a bit of engine power. Propulsion, however, will not take that much power at all. Yeah, okay, let's do this. So, what I'm going to do is load a prefab. I do have an efficient power block. What's an efficient power block XL? That's a big efficient engine power block. That's a lot of engine components. You know what? An efficient engine is more than enough for my purposes here. Now, let's just align it. There has to be an exhaust somewhere on this one. Ah, there it is. Okay, it has been properly aligned. Oh. That is something... Yeah. Oops. Okay. Let's do it properly now. Yeah, it needs to be held in place. So, let's see. This is a 3x3 room here where I can connect a radiator. And this is perfect for exhaust pipes. It's almost as if I have prepared this room or this space ahead of time. And I knew what I was going to install there. Okay. So, this also needs a few more connections to the ship's structure. And I probably should use lightweight alloy for this. I have to watch the weight after all. Alright then. So, these two engines are in place. However, you cannot see the engine power produced by those just yet. I first maybe need to install some fuel tanks and provide the necessary materials. Anyway, time to section off this area here with a little bit of wood. Now, there's something else I would like to address. I am going to install a total amount of 3 AI cores on this carrier. One AI core is only there for the sole purpose of navigating this ship. And when I say navigating the ship, I mean staying as far away as possible from the strongest opponent. That will be the opponent that has the most firepower in total. And I guess I should set a combat distance of maybe 2000 or 1500 meters, something in between. This is a support unit after all. A costly support unit. Yeah, it may cost a lot to build, but I do want to keep the overall costs down, the overall running costs in battle. That also means this carrier does spawn drones and therefore uses a lot of materials, so every other system should be tuned towards using as few materials as possible. For example, the engine here that I'm currently setting up. A very efficient engine, material-wise, but volume-wise, well, not so much. Okay, let's see. We have the fuel. Well, I don't have all the fuel I need. That is a problem. Maybe I can put this air pump right here. And there we go. Oh, by the way, could activate connection checks again. Right. Okay, I have all the fuel I need, even a little bit more than I need. So delete this. There we go. That's enough. I have the engine in place, and yep, I did not forget to activate mirror mode. Nice. So we have 30,000 engine power to play with, and since I've already installed a little bridge up there, let's see what happens if I give it full speed ahead. Now, due to the unique shape of this vehicle, I am not going to be able to reach probably a speed greater than 21 meters per second. The other AI cores are for the control of the self-defense systems, like the lasers and those anti-aircraft and Seabus guns. And the second AI core is probably the most important one of them all. Because, you see, this AI core controls what kind of drones are going to be spawned. This AI core will be connected to sensor systems that do not contain any trackers, so mostly 360 degree and 90 degree sensor systems. And with these sensor informations I will determine what kind of vehicle should be spawned. And there we have it. I have connected now all essential components to the navigational mainframe. This includes a single visual camera and 90 degree radars in all directions except upwards. But I think I'm missing something. Yeah, I guess a 360 degree sonar would also be very beneficial. However, this is going to create a problem with the turret I'm going to place here. You know, the underwater anti-torpedo Seabus. I might want to install that sonar on the turret itself. This shouldn't be a problem. So, now that everything is in place, we'll probably set up the mainframe now to basically keep its distance from the most dangerous enemy in terms of firepower. Not that this unit isn't presenting a rather inviting target, I might add. It is large. Alright, there's a slight change of plans here. I'm going to reduce the number of mainframes from 3 to 2. Basically, I figured that the navigational mainframe can take over the decision of what kind of drones to spawn as well. Since detection information is shared between all mainframes, it doesn't make sense to have just another mainframe set up for this rather mundane task that also doesn't require an aim point selection card or target prioritization, for example. So, this mainframe, however, will be in control of all the what's it called? Yeah, the self-defense mechanisms, like torpedoes, short-range missiles, Seabus, and anti-aircraft cannons. Okay, this one has been set up. Nice, very nice. So, how should I do this? I'm going to place several trackers and detection systems on the turrets themselves, and as well as on this special underwater Seabus, or anti-torpedo Seabus, which I yet have to construct. Okay, guess now it is time to maybe work on the lamps as well. This system, this laser defense system that is going to, hopefully, protect this craft against, well, mostly cram and APS shells, to be fair. The carrier is not going to receive any shielding, I might add. Yeah, no, he's not going to receive any shielding at all. I know this is a weird decision, but I do really want to keep the cost low on this one. As low as possible. I mean, I've already spent quite a sum on this a little unit so far. Well, I say little, but it is quite a hefty chunk, isn't it? So then, this has been finished as well. We have now a laser network here in this drone carrier, and I have installed the rather modest lamps and well, combined point defense laser, you know, against suicider aircraft or just little annoying pests that the drones have not taken care of yet. Right then, I've also decided against installing any frequency doublers, as this primary purpose of this laser system is to defend against munitions. And munitions always have an armor value of 40, and the standard AP value of laser systems is 40, or well, 60 for 0Q setups. So frequency doublers are not necessary here. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, we have the lamps, we have engines, we have the AI. Is there something else? Yes, there needs to be some kind of steering mechanism in place, other than the few propellers I have installed here in the front. Something to basically make this rather large bathtub turn a little bit better. So, every support system has been installed. I have installed munition warners, a few trackers on the superstructure and the main hull for the defensive AI, and now I am testing the anti-munition systems and the navigational AI here against a crossbow. I'm also trying to identify blind spots in the lamp's coverage, one of which is immediately obvious, that is directly from behind. I have installed a few clusters of nodes here, and this superstructure is not exactly ideal for a central node cluster to cover every angle of this craft. So I think I should probably install a second, maybe two clusters of these lamps nodes back here. Maybe here even on the deck, but then again these spawning platforms are obscuring a lot of the firing lines for those lamps nodes. Regardless of which, it seems that against the relatively weak cramps of the crossbones, this lamps is sufficient. It has a rather well, it has a fast recharge rate. After all, there is a point defense laser systems, or two, that have to rely on the same lamps core as well. Right then, these defensive tests seem to be successful, but I will still install at least one cluster of lamps nodes back here, just to be sure. I cannot install one here on this surface here, because this is where the what's it called? The planetary fighter? No. Aerospace fighter drone will be spawned, yeah. That's the one. Right then, let me just get to work to find a little bit more space where I can install one or two lamps nodes. Alright then, looks like the first phase of the construction of this adaptive drone carrier is complete. And this is also the end of the episode for now. In the next episode I will be installing the defensive weapon systems along with the point defense lasers, and then finally the drone spawning mechanisms, and an ACB setup, maybe even a breadboard setup that determines when what kind of drone has to be spawned. Alright then, I hope you have enjoyed this little construction episode. I am the Heizmeister, and I hope I see you again on the Azure Seas of Niter, when we will be giving this chunky ship here some armament. Take care, and until next time.